In this week's activities, we're going to be looking at isometric drawings. On the right hand side, this is going to be our first activity that we're going to be working on. You can see that we have three isometric objects. In this case, they're all letters. The letter A is our first example, the letter J is our second example, and the letter Z is our third example. What you will see is right to the top of each of those letters, you're going to have a description of what the column is. So in the first column, it says letter to draw. And the second column, it says the front view of the object. And in the third window, it says isometric view. And if you look here, this is actually what we would call an isometric grid. An isometric grid is something that is drawn on a 30-degree angle. To start off with these activities, I'm not going to make you guys draw these on paper. That we'll do later on this week. Right now, I want you guys to get a feel for how these objects will look after you've completed them. Okay? So, we are not going to actually draw these using this isometric grid here. Instead, what we're going to do is we have a program that I have given you a link for below that allows us to draw very simple isometric objects by using several of these tools that you will see on the left hand side. The tools that we're going to actually be using are going to be this first one here, which is the cube tool. We have the selection tool and we have the eraser tool. Probably the eraser tool is going to be your favorite. Chances are you're going to be using that the most. And the other tools that we do have that we're not going to be using for this activity, but we could if we really wanted to challenge ourselves, are creating the front face of an object, the right side of an object, and the top of an object. We also have the ability to draw a line, and we can take our object that once we finish drawing it, we can explode it into the three different views. Now, let's go ahead and look at this grid. You're going to notice this grid is also set up on a 30-degree angle, just as we see over here. Let me zoom this in so we can see this. All right. You can see that the grid dots are nearly identical in size, and we definitely know they're on the correct angle of 30 degrees. In isometric grid paper, what we have, or even an isometric grid, doesn't matter if it's on a computer or paper, we always have lines that, or dots I should say, that run 30 degrees left to right, 30 degrees front to back, and then we also have the ability to create vertical lines. Now, we could talk about how to draw arcs and curves and circles, but we're going to do that later on. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating these objects very simply. I'm going to zoom in on this object just a little bit more, bring it up here so that we can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to bring this graph paper over so that we can basically see our object. Now, we already know it's the letter A, so I'm going to cover that up so that we have the most amount of graph paper showing. Now, if your window is too small to be able to come up with seeing this graph, you can always go ahead and expand it out and then just bring it back when you need it to see that. Okay? I'm going to leave it like this. I think we have enough room to be able to see. I'm going to go ahead and pick the cube tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to pick this blue color. I don't really care what color you pick. You can pick any color you want here. I'm going to look here and I'm going to see that the object is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units tall, 3 units wide. And then the crossover is 3 blocks down. Okay? Now, I can't just go willy-nilly drawing object here. You'll notice that in certain spots, I get a red cube. A red cube means I can't draw the object in that space. A gray cube, or a blue-gray, or a purple, or a black, whatever way you see this, this other color is a okay spot to be able to draw in. Now, we're going to be drawing in this manner. This is our front view. We need to go up and down and left and right. We need to pick a spot where our object is going to fit. And if I'm looking here, I can draw in this area. I got to check to make sure that I can go high enough. So right here, if I try, I'm not going to click anything. I'm just going to move this up manually. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can't fit 5 in. Why don't I try moving over a couple of spaces? All right, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Can I fit 3 going over to the right? 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay, I can. So let's go back to that start point. It was right about here, I believe. And I'm going to click on the box one time. That's going to give me a starting point. And then I'm just going to build my blocks on top. Okay. Now you're going to notice my blocks kind of look goofy. Oops, I got to erase here. Try this again. Put my blocks on top. Alright, and you're going to notice that in certain ways that I put the object on here, notice this way it's kind of shaded and it doesn't look right. But if I bring it in here a different way, if I kind of bring it down a little bit further, now it brings it as the whole object is shaded in. That's what I want. So that's 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks high. I'm going to get the 5th block. There's my 5th block. Now, I find it easiest to use this program starting from the bottom and working our way up. Okay, so I'm going to skip 1. I'm going to try doing this again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that if I put my mouse right at this corner right here, it always is a solid object the way we want it to be. If I bring it up, notice that it kind of cuts that object away. So let's make sure it's solid. So that's our 5th block. And then we want to make sure we got another block there. And then the last one, we want to make sure we've got a block right there. Congratulations. You've now done this first letter. What I would like you to do is I would like you to find your snipping tool. All right, I have a shortcut on my desktop. If you don't have it, you can always go over here to the Start menu, hit the letter S, and then you'll find Snipping Tool. Okay? There's another name for it, which is going to be, let's see here, where they call it right here. Snip and Sketch. Okay? I'll bring it up to the Snip and Sketch because that's what it's going to look like for you guys. So let's try looking for that again. I have a little bit older version of Windows. So for me, all right, I hit the letter S and it brings me to the snipping tool. But if I actually look at my S's here, I have Snip and Sketch, which is what I've just opened up. Once I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and click New. Notice that my screen kind of darkens out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a little box around the object to copy it. Once I have the object copied, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just label the object as the letter A. Now, it's very important to pay attention to where your object is being saved. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Desktop. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it Assignment 1. Open the folder. I have the letter A. I'm going to save it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to close out that snipping tool because we don't need that snipping tool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and use the eraser. And I'm just going to erase all of my letters. Another thing you can do is you can come up here and you can hit the refresh tool. And it'll refresh the screen for you. Let's go ahead and try doing the letter J. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. I'm going to use the cube again. This time I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to pick this green. Again, I got to look to see where I can fit the object in. It looks like in this area I'm good. Can't go down there, but I can go right here. So 1, 2, 3, object tall. I got that little lip there, and then I got to go 1 object, 2 objects, 3 objects, 4 objects. Oops. I didn't check well enough, did I? I can only do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, I'm good. I just miscounted. All right, we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, perfect. All right, we got it. And this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. All right, there's our letter J. I'll go back to the selection tool. Think about it. What was the next step that we did? Correct. We went down to the snipping tool and we clicked New. And you'll notice that it highlights it again. I'm just going to draw a bar all the way around this object. If you don't like the way it looks, you can always go back to click New. Try a little bit higher if you maybe didn't get the whole object in there, or maybe you just made the window way too big. Try maybe shrinking it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be equal. Just try to get it somewhat. Okay. There's my second object. I'm going to go ahead and go up to the save. This time I'm going to call it the letter J. Make sure we use capitals. I'm going to minimize that again. Refresh my screen. That gives me a new start. Let's take a look at our last letter. The letter Z. It's 1, 2, 3 units wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units tall. Okay, again, let's try this. Block. I'll pick a different color again. And I'm going to find a spot where it looks like it can fit. Probably okay right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And we're going to do a little different this time, because you'll notice that I went and clicked 5 units right off the bat tall. I'm going to show you. We're going to work on the eraser this time. There's 1 unit. There's another unit. Okay. I'm going to come down. Gotta try to get it in here so it looks right. Okay, so it's fighting me. It's not showing me the way I want it to look. So let's go from the bottom. Skip. Right there. We're going to put it right there. Oh, this thing just looks like a mess, doesn't it? I can always redraw over a box if it doesn't look right. Now it looks right again. Okay, come in here. There's that. I'm going to use the eraser tool. And then I'm just going to erase 1 object. You'll notice that now I've got my object. Again, you might have to play with the way your blocks are being put in, because if they look like that, that's not right. But you can always come over the object and redraw it again so it's dark. Okay, let me do that again. Notice that it's dark. Alright. But notice that this one doesn't look right. Okay, it doesn't look quite right. So I can always come back in here and I can put it over it. And if I'm clicking on it a second time, this website knows to realize, hey, the first click, the way they did it, wasn't correct. So now let's try it a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these, and notice how it kind of sticks those ones above. Okay. So it actually kind of layers those two objects. All right, so now, what was our step that we had to do again? Let you think about it for a second. Correct. We got to go down to the snipping tool, click New, draw a box around our object, come up to the Save, and then we're going to call it the letter Z. And then we're going to hit Save. Now, we're going to get a little fancy with doing the second part. All right, so I've got the object, our first lesson, back here on the screen. And what I need to do is I need to be able to put in those three objects we created. Now, some versions of Adobe Acrobat allow you to paste in objects here, here, here. If you use the program Cami, I believe Cami also allows you to paste objects in, or you can use another program that's called Microsoft Word. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this here as a Word document, and I'm going to show you how we're going to modify our Word document so that we can go ahead and paste our objects in. Let me bring that up. So here I've opened up my Word document. It's the exact same item as you guys have. Now you're going to notice I've got an image here. Looks like a graph. That's great. We're going to leave it. We're not going to do anything to it. We're not going to change anything on this page. All we're going to do is we're going to paste some objects in, and then we're going to go ahead and type in our name, date, and our class period. So why don't we go ahead and let's paste some objects in. So I'm going to go under the Insert tab. And I need to be in this block right here. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this block. And you'll notice I now have this showing. Before it was grayed out. I was up here somewhere. Yep, see I was over here and see how it was grayed out. So I'm just going to click over here and you'll notice that it now says picture. I'm going to click on this little turn down. It says insert picture from. I'm going to pick this device. I'm going to find where the item is. What did I call it? I called it on my desktop. Just remember where you have it saved. I think I called it, what did I call it? What did I call it? Lesson 1, assignment 1. There it is, assignment 1. I have my three objects. So why don't I go ahead and put my first object in. Insert it. Okay, you're going to notice that it has totally screwed up this whole page. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to click on this little button right here. And notice it says inline. We don't want it inline. We want it in front of the text. So it's this lower right hand box. Okay. Notice everything goes back to normal again. Grab this hand and I need to shrink it up so that it fits in here. I'm just going to slide it over to the side. Okay. If you want to get really fancy about it, you can try to get your grids to line up. In all honesty, I don't really care. Okay? But there's my object. Pretty neat way of doing it, huh? Let's go ahead and try the second one. Again, I'm going to select on my grid that I have here already. I'm going to go under Insert, Picture, from this device. My folder should already be opened up. So I'm going to select my second object. Insert. Again, it messes everything up. That's okay. We're not going to freak out. We're not going to click anything. All we're going to do is click on this little icon that comes up, lower right hand corner, put the object in front of our text. Everything comes back to normal. I'm going to come over here, grab one of my little corners, and I'm going to adjust it so that it fits in my area. And then I'm just going to, maybe I'll try to line the dots up a little bit. Do I have to be too picky? No. Okay. Last one I'm going to do, again, click on here, come up to Insert, Picture from this device, pick my third object, insert it. Again, what happens? Everything gets goofed up. Don't freak out. Click here. We're going to go so that it's in front of your text. Adjust the size. Okay, so it fits. Slide it over so it's towards the middle. Unclick. We now have 3 objects. Perfect. We're almost there. Last thing that we have to do. I'm going to click up here. And then we are going to type in our names. Alright. Mr. Quain. You're going to notice that this has no underlines under it. And you're going to notice that this here is all goofed up. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to have it so that instead of you having to mess around with all this, I'm going to have it so that we are going to have a text box. Alright, so you're going to notice at the top, I have now added in something here. This is going to be on your copy. And what this is just a simple text box that I've created. But I wanted to save it and make it so it's less of a headache for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this text box, select the text, and what does it say? It says last name, comma, first. So go ahead and type in all capitals, last name, comma, first. Click over here. Now next thing it says is number. So that's going to be our month. In this case, it's the 11th month, which is November. Today's date, if you don't know what the date is, you can look down here. 15th. And I'm going to go over here and it says what year. Well, if you don't know what year it is, you can look right here, 2020. All right. Your year might be different. 2020. All right. All right. So now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to change my period so that it can be period, I don't know, what number do we want? We'll go with period 9, okay, since that doesn't exist for us. And then once you've got all that done, you are done. However, in order to submit this assignment, you need to do the following. We're going to go up to File, Save As, and right here, we're going to change this down to a PDF. Alright. You can pick whatever folder you want it to go in, and then go ahead and hit Save. Okay. Now, if you get a little thing that says, hey, you can't do anything with it because it's a read-only, change the name of it. Okay. Day 1 assignment. Okay. Don't label it something goofy like you hit your fingers against the keyboard and it comes up with a whole bunch of random letters, or stupid, or I hate this, because I can see the titles that you create on these assignments. So make sure that you title it properly. That way you can always go back to it, find it easily later on. And hit save. Now you're going to notice that this item has been saved as a PDF. I'm pretty sure of. Let's go ahead. We can go ahead and open, and then we could go into this PC. Let's see here. Sketching. Okay, there it is. Assignment 1. Okay, so we did save it, and it's saved correctly. You could then go ahead and upload the assignment. Again, there's a lot of steps to create these objects, but That's all part of the assignment. Following the rules, going back, looking at the assignment. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me. Otherwise, good luck. Make sure you submit it when you're done. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.